The Curse of the Whispering Amulet. I never believed in curses, not until I laid eyes on the Whispering Amulet. It was a sweltering summer day when I stumbled upon it in the back corner of an old pawn shop, hidden beneath a layer of dust and forgotten memories. The moment I saw it, I felt an inexplicable pull, as if something deep within me recognized the ancient power that emanated from its tarnished surface. The shopkeeper, a grizzled old man with sunken eyes and a permanent scowl, warned me against taking the amulet. He spoke of its dark history, of the lives it had ruined and the souls it had devoured. But I brushed off his warnings, dismissing them as the ramblings of a superstitious old fool. I had always been drawn to the mysterious and the unknown, and the amulet called to me like a siren's song. From the moment I slipped the amulet around my neck, my world began to unravel. Strange things started happening. Objects would move on their own. Whispers would echo through the empty rooms of my apartment, and I would wake in the dead of night to find myself bathed in a cold sweat, the feeling of unseen eyes watching me from the shadows. At first, I tried to rationalize it all away, attributing the strange occurrences to stress or lack of sleep. But as the days turned into weeks, and the whispers grew louder and more insistent, I could no longer deny the truth. The amulet was cursed, and I was its unwitting victim. I tried everything to rid myself of the cursed object, burying it in the backyard, throwing it into the river, even attempting to destroy it with fire. But no matter what I did, it always found its way back to me, like a malevolent specter, haunting my every waking moment. As the days passed, I could feel the darkness closing in around me, suffocating me with its oppressive weight. I became paranoid, seeing shadows lurking around every corner, hearing whispers in the wind that seemed to speak directly to my soul. And always, there was the amulet, its golden surface mocking me with its silent malevolence. I knew then that I had to break the curse, no matter the cost. I began researching ancient rituals and incantations, scouring dusty tomes and forgotten texts in search of a way to banish the darkness that had consumed me. But with each passing day, the whispers grew louder, more frenzied, as if the amulet could sense my desperation and was taunting me with its power. And then, one night, as I lay in bed, consumed by fear and despair, I heard a voice that was not my own, but that of the amulet itself. It spoke to me in hushed tones, promising me power beyond my wildest dreams if only I would embrace the darkness that lurked within. In that moment of weakness, I made a choice that would seal my fate for all eternity. I accepted the amulet's offer, allowing its dark influence to consume me completely. And as I felt the last remnants of my humanity slip away, I knew that I was lost. Now, as I wander the earth as a mere shell of my former self, I can only warn others against the dangers of the Whispering Amulet. For once, it has claimed you. There is no escape, no redemption. There is only darkness, and the eternal torment of knowing that you are forever bound to the curse of the Whispering Amulet.
The Whisper of the Amulet. There are things in this world that we will never understand, things that go beyond what our eyes can see. I would have never believed it until I found the amulet. It was a seductive piece, sparkling and shimmering as if it captured the light itself. Yet behind its outer beauty lurked something dark, something evil, waiting to be unleashed. It all began on a cold autumn day as I wandered through the antique market. Amidst all the old books and antique furniture, the amulet immediately caught my eye. It lay there, spread out on a velvet cushion, surrounded by a touch of mystery. I couldn't look away, as if it were hypnotizing me, as if it were calling me. And before I realized it, I already had it in my hand. From that moment on, everything changed. I felt an eerie presence around me, a coldness that penetrated to my bones. But I pushed aside those feelings and examined the amulet more closely. It was adorned with ancient symbols that were unfamiliar to me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that it had a story to tell. A dark and unsettling story. As I put the amulet around my neck, I immediately felt a change. It was as if I had suddenly connected to something greater, something beyond my understanding. I could hear a whisper, faint and barely perceptible, ringing in my ears even when no one was nearby. It was the whisper of the amulet that wouldn't let me go. In the following days, strange things began to happen. Objects disappeared mysteriously, and I felt like I was being watched, even in my own home. Every night as I tried to sleep, I heard the whispering grow louder until it finally swelled into a chilling scream that made my blood run cold. I tried to get rid of the amulet, bury it, burn it, but nothing seemed to work. It kept coming back to me, as if it didn't want to let me go. And with each passing day, I felt it entangling me deeper into its dark secrets, until I no longer knew what was real and what was not. Finally, I realized the truth. The amulet was cursed, a prison for an evil power waiting to be unleashed. And I was its involuntary guardian, trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. I knew I only had one choice. I had to destroy the amulet, no matter the cost. In a desperate final effort, I set out to a remote location, far from any civilization. With trembling hands, I reached for the amulet and held it over a burning flame. But before I could burn it, I heard the whisper again, louder and more powerful than ever before. And suddenly, everything around me turned to darkness. When I came to, I was lying on the ground, the amulet firmly in my hand. But it was changed, corrupted, and I knew I had failed. The darkness around me seemed alive, pulsating and breathless, and I knew I would be forever trapped in its grip. This is my story, the story of the amulet and the dark power that controlled it. A story I will never forget, even if I wanted to. May it serve as a warning to all those who ignore the tempting promises of the unknown. For sometimes, what lurks in the darkness is worse than anything we can imagine. The Whispering Amulet. I never believed in curses, at least not until I stumbled upon the amulet. It was a cold autumn evening, and the wind howled through the streets as if warning me to stay away. But I was drawn to the old antique shop like a moth to a flame, my curiosity overriding any sense of caution. The shop was a cluttered mess of trinkets and treasures, each item telling a story of its own. And there, nestled among dusty relics of forgotten times, was the amulet. It glimmered with an otherworldly light, its intricate patterns mesmerizing me in a way I couldn't explain. I had to have it. The shopkeeper warned me, his voice low and filled with a sense of foreboding. He spoke of the amulet's dark history, of the lives it had claimed and the souls it had tormented. But I brushed off his warnings, dismissing them as the ramblings of a superstitious old man. Little did I know, I was about to unleash a terror beyond my wildest nightmares. From the moment I laid eyes on the amulet, strange things began to happen. Objects moved on their own. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, and I could hear whispers echoing through the empty rooms of my apartment. At first, I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, a trick of the mind brought on by stress or lack of sleep. But deep down, I knew the truth. The whispers grew louder with each passing day, their words unintelligible yet filled with malice. They followed me wherever I went, taunting me, tormenting me. I couldn't escape them, couldn't find solace in the silence of the night. And always, there was the amulet, watching me with its cold, unblinking gaze. I tried to rid myself of the cursed object, throwing it away, burying it in the earth, even attempting to destroy it with fire. But no matter what I did, it always found its way back to me, as if mocking my feeble attempts to be rid of it. It was as if the amulet had a will of its own, a malevolent force guiding its every move. As the days turned into weeks, my sanity began to slip away, like grains of sand through my fingers. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't think of anything else but the whispers and the amulet. It consumed me, body and soul, until I was nothing but a shell of my former self. And then, one fateful night, the whispers stopped. I thought maybe, just maybe, I had finally broken free from the curse that had plagued me for so long. But when I looked into the mirror, I saw the truth reflected back at me. My eyes were empty, soulless, filled only with the darkness of the amulet. I knew then that there was no escape, no way to undo what had been done. I was bound to the amulet for eternity, doomed to wander the earth as a vessel for its insatiable hunger. And as I felt its icy grip tighten around my heart, I realized the true horror of the whispering amulet. For it was not just a cursed object, but a gateway to something far more sinister, something that should have remained buried in the depths of the earth. And now, as I feel the last vestiges of my humanity slipping away, I can only pray that no one else suffers the same fate as I have.